Board meeting Thursday, April 20th, 2023. I hereby declare this meeting of the Howell Township Planning Board to be open, adequate notice having been given pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act in the following manner. First, on January 6th, 2023, a copy of said notice was mailed to the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger. Second, on January 6th, 2023, a copy of said notice was hand-delivered to the clerk of the Township of Howell. Third, on January 6, 2023, said notice was posted in the office of the Planning Board and on the bulletin board in the Howell Township Municipal Building, 4567 Route 9, Howell Township, New Jersey. Members of the public will have a chance to ask questions and comment on applications once the chairman opens the hearing up to members of the public. If you wish to ask questions or comment on an application, you will need to use the raise your hand feature and we will bring you into the meeting one at a time. You will need to have audio and video capability. You will be sworn in and required to give your name and address. For anyone calling in, you can press *9 to raise or lower your hand and *6 to mute or unmute yourself. This meeting is being videotaped for possible future broadcast on Howell Township TV 77. Thank you. And before we go to the roll call, Ron, did you get the oath I sent you from Mr. Leggio? I emailed it to you and him this afternoon.
Give me one moment.
Was I supposed to do something with that?
No, you're going to have to take the oath and then sign it and send it back to me after you take the oath.
Yeah, the email is still giving me a hard time from the township. It keeps
I'll try to.
bouncing.
All right.
Give me 1 second, Eileen. I'm just printing it out.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got it. Okay, Mr. Leggio, if you could just raise your right hand. Okay, I, and state your name.
I, John Leggio,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
impartially and justly
perform all of the duties
of
of the office of Class 1 Planning Board member
of the office of Class 1 Planning Board member
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and the governments established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people.
Under the authority of the people.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now I can do roll call, okay?
Eileen, I just noticed that Brian, it looks like he's in the audience with his hand up.
He must have got kicked out. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Roll call. Mr. Cristiano?
Present.
Mr. Greenfield?
Here.
Mr. Husser's been excused. Mr. Leggio?
Here.
Mr. Seaman?
Here.
Ms. Talente?
Here.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Here.
Councilman Gager?
Here.
Mr. Kyle,
Present.
Mr. Mercer,
Here.
and Chairman Bavai.
Here.
You have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay. We rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence for the troops serving here and abroad. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. Do we have any minutes?
I have no minutes.
Any vouchers?
I have no vouchers.
Any correspondence?
I do have correspondence, but actually the applicant's attorneys are here, so I will let them address the board.
Okay.
I have Mr. Simon for case AAVRHW Property LLC. And I don't know if I need to bring in anybody else. I'll bring in Mr. Gazarovski and Miss Ferguson just in case we need them. I think you can go ahead, Mr. Simon.
Thank you. Rob Simon from Herald Law on behalf of the applicant. I submitted a letter, good evening, by the way. I submitted a letter to the board bearing today's date, respectfully asking that tonight's application or continued application be carried to a date certain. I have polled my experts who, if you recall, had been present and provided direct testimony and are subject to cross-examination, which has not yet occurred by members of the public. And so we ask that the matter be carried to May 4th, 2023 without further notice.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
Just also by way of background, if the board may recall, there were several questions regarding design of the road and particularly issues revolving around the curve. Mr.
Right.
Simon's team has put together an exhibit that was submitted this week. Our board's professionals have not had an opportunity to fully review it. I'd imagine also that the objectors' attorneys and their team have not either. So without everyone having a real opportunity to take a look at it, carrying it seems to be the best way. Also, the objectors did retain two experts, one of them being a traffic expert as well. They've provided some exhibits yesterday, I believe. So the time will allow our board's professionals also to take those exhibits into account. Mr. Simon's team can look at those exhibits as well, and everyone will be on the same fair footing at the next hearing, having been able to fully review and appreciate the exhibits from both the applicant and the objector, and the board's professionals will be in a position that they can offer their opinion as well.
And Mr. Kuchero, thank you for that. To that end, we would also respectfully ask that any participant in these proceedings as an objector, professional objector or otherwise, who intends to offer any exhibits to the board to be provided to the board and to my office at least 48 hours before the May 4th hearing.
I appreciate that, Mr. Simon, and we'll certainly do our best to send anything well in advance of that. I think having 2 weeks until May 4th will really help out, and we certainly want to give everybody an equal opportunity to review all materials.
Right.
So I also
Ms. Ferguson, do you have the submission that Mr. Simon made this week? Do you have a copy of that?
I don't believe I do.
Okay,
I'll
then
send
I
it
would
to you.
just ask Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Simon, if the two of you could just confer with each other offline and make sure that you've all exchanged whatever it is that you're going to be, that you know you're going to be relying upon. I know, that is something you would do normally anyway, but I'll just put it on the record. And then again, everyone will have the opportunity to allow their professionals to look at the submissions, and each other's professionals also to make comments on each other's submissions.
Be
And
happy to.
I can email them as well.
Okay.
Mr. Simon, you also granted the board an extension of time through the end of May?
That is correct, per my letter dated
Thank you.
April 20th.
So then let me
Thank
just
you.
make the announcement, and that's the 11th, you said, right, Mr. Simon?
No, May 4th.
The
May
4th.
4th. Oh,
May 4th.
sometimes I
So-
can't read my own writing. I see.
No,
that's a point.
that's okay. And just to, I'm sorry, Mr. Kuchar, I don't mean to keep interrupting. Just to confirm that if the announcement is in fact going to be made, to indicate whether or not it's going to be over the Zoom platform. Thank you.
Yeah. So the application of AAVRHW Property LLC, case SP-1105, will be carried to the board's May 4th, 2023 meeting. That is a virtual meeting beginning at 7 o'clock. The instructions on how to access the virtual meeting are available online, as well as anyone can contact Eileen Rubano at the Planning Department. She can also give it to you. All documents are on file, both remotely and as well as available for physical inspection in the office of the Planning Board. There will be no further notice to property owners. So if you previously received a notice in the mail, you will not receive another notice. And just again, it's being carried to the board's remote May 4th, 2023 meeting beginning at 7 o'clock.
Very good. I thank the
Thank you.
board on behalf of the
Thank you very
applicant.
much.
Good night,
Okay.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Just give me 1 second here. I also have the attorney for Monmouth Commerce to address the board. Give me 1 second. That's Ms. Goncher and also Mr. Fiel are both on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you want us to
Hey.
make our request, or did you have something in any further introduction?
No, you can make your request.
Merrill Goncher, Sills, Cummins and Gross. I have my partner Adam Fiella with me from the same firm. This is the application of Monmouth Commerce Center. And we had made a request upon our receipt of communication from the County Planning Board Tuesday morning, advising that we prepare a revised plan for the intersection of Randolph Road and 547. And we immediately advised the board, since that had been a document that was submitted to this board, to the Township Planning Board. We will now be revising it. The county board has asked us to revise it without their word certain mitigation. And we have been attempting to find out exactly what they're looking for. At the time of the last county meeting, there had also been a recommendation that the county engineer, our engineer, and the municipal engineer sit down together and meet before a further submission was made. We're not sure. The gentleman we deal with at the county is on vacation till Monday. What exactly, whether they still think that meeting is necessary, but in any event, since at the time of the previous application before this board, the board had indicated that they wanted to review or felt they had to review the intersection plan. And we had in fact submitted it to this board as part of our submission in view of the fact that that will likely be changing to eliminate a piece of township property that would have been required for a road widening to facilitate the improvements at the intersection. The township has advised the county that they will not convey that small piece of property. And the county has now asked us to redesign the intersection to eliminate that property, which I think you may recall our engineer advised could be done at the time of his appearance before the board. So we've requested an adjournment in order that we can confirm what the county's looking for and make that submission to the county. And once they have advised that we can proceed, then we'll be able to provide it to the township board as well to replace the previous plan that had been submitted as part of our application. So we had requested an adjournment based upon our consultants' schedules, my schedule. We had requested and granted an extension through June 15. We believe that would provide adequate time to redesign the plan, have communication or a preliminary meeting with the county and get their authorization for us to proceed with a design. And that had been our request. I was advised today that it was not clear that we would be getting the adjournment that we had requested to accommodate both my schedule and our consultant.
Well, certainly it's up to the board chair as the hearing officer to determine. We have our own schedule and our own applications that we have to that we have to consider as well. So, Mr. Chair, when would you like to carry this to?
Well, I think the next available meeting we have with room for this would be May 11th. You know, we have this particular application has, you know, monopolized a lot of time. You know, we need to move forward with it. So my preference would be, you know, May 11th. It's 3 weeks from now.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate
we have
that.
The whole meeting.
I appreciate that. However, what I don't have is my traffic consultant. We were in the middle of cross-examination of the traffic consultant at the time of the last meeting. And he is on a trip to Florida with his family that week and will not be available. He is the next witness. Our last witness is our planner, who is generally the last witness and needs the other testimony of other witnesses. He is also the one who will be dealing with the issues of the intersection plan. We had understood that there were some other meetings that had meetings, and that's why we had already had matters on them.
No, we can't speak to what your understanding was. We can speak to, we're trying to help accommodate everybody with a heavy agenda. Mr. Taylor is not the only engineer in his firm, obviously.
But he was in the middle of cross-examination of testimony he's already given.
Well, we're not here to fight. We're here to get a date. So, Mr. Chairman.
And I would also, we appreciate that the matter has gone on for some time, but the duration of, I will take issue with the characterization that we monopolized it. There were a number of meetings that we were scheduled for, and they were canceled. We did not cancel them.
We gave you a special meeting. We've been accommodating, and just like you said, so you know, your traffic guy, he's on vacation. Summer's coming up too, so we're going to have many members that are going to be in and out, and we want full participation of the board also in this matter. So I mean,
if you want to adjourn it to a date when we've advised that the witness who's in the middle of his questioning by the public is not available, I certainly can't control the board.
When the applicant filed the application, they were well aware of what the board schedule is. The board is not required to accommodate Ms. Goncher and every single one of her professionals. We have an agenda. You know, these professionals were aware of what our schedule was when they agreed to take the case. You know, everyone has to modify their lives to a certain extent to make sure that we can get through these things. We're really not here for a debate, Mr. Chairman. We understand that Ms. Goncher has objected. She has attempted to characterize your decision and, you know, quite frankly, put words in your mouth. So let's just pick a date. I will make the announcement and the applicant can make their own decisions on how to move forward.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm choosing May 11th.
All right. So let me make the announcement. The application of Monmouth Commerce Center LLC, case SP-1100, be carried to the board's May 11th, 2023 meeting date. It's a virtual meeting beginning at 7 o'clock. The instructions on how to access the meeting are available on the town's website, and they are also available by calling the board secretary. Documents are on file and can be accessed via the internet or physically in the office of the planning department during normal business hours. Again, there'll be no further notice to property owners.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Do we have any resolutions, Eileen? Okay, so next up is go ahead, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, I just need a brief executive meeting tonight as well to just go over one piece of litigation.
Okay.
But, you know, by way, I know we have one plan update. I can just tell you that we're basically in the same position that we were in, you know, at the last master plan update.
Okay. All right.
We just have a submission waiver.
One submission waiver real quick.
Oh, right.
I just don't see the attorney for Howell 360. So if I see
which attorney is that, Eileen?
I thought it was John Sordo, but I have Brian. Hold on. Brian Shemish is here.
Yeah, bring him in.
Okay, so this is submission waivers, case number SP-1110, Howell 360 LLC.
Good evening, members of the board and professionals in attendance this evening. Appreciate you making time to hear us for this application. I'm here this evening appearing on behalf of Howell 360 LLC. As you may know, Evan Zimmerman is the primary attorney on this file. However, joyfully, he just had his second child earlier this week. So here I am. Thank you for having me. I understand that the primary purpose of this completeness hearing this evening is to review Section 3 of Ms. Newman's February 23rd, 2023 letter. I'd be happy to go through those items and provide responses to each unless anyone has an objection or a different preference on process.
Well, typically what we do is we turn it over to Laura to go over and see if she has any objection to any of the items. So Laura, let me just swear you in real quick. Do you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Laura.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as Mr. Smesh indicated, the submission waivers are specifically outlined in item 3 of our February 23rd, 2023 review letter. The only submission waiver that I take issue with is one this board typically does not grant, and that's item 60, which is all overland and underground conveyances 2,000 feet downstream, commonly known as our 2,000-foot downstream drainage analysis, which we typically require. As it relates to the balance of the items, I take no exception to the granting of those for the purposes of completeness, but I do recommend that item 60 be provided.
On behalf of the applicant, we can add that to the plans and we will comply with that requirement.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the submission waivers.
Second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Greenfield?
Yes.
Mr. Leggio,
Yes.
Mr. Seaman,
Yes.
Ms. Talente,
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse.
Yes.
Councilman Gager,
Yes.
Mr. Kyle,
Yes.
and Chairman Bavai.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. Looking forward to working with you further on this application.
All right. You have a good night.
You as well.
Okay. So with that, there's nothing else left except for executive. So I will entertain a motion.
Well,
to,
we just need Eileen to read the resolution.
and we're not coming back after executive.
Correct. Yep.
Correct. Whereas Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 13 of the New Jersey Revised Statutes requires that the public shall not be excluded from any meetings of a public body unless a resolution authorizing such exclusion is adopted at a public meeting. And whereas the Planning Board of the Township of Howell has determined that such a closed meeting is required to discuss certain matters which are exempted from consideration with the public in attendance under New Jersey Revised Statutes 10:4-12, namely litigation, case number SD 2998, Wadsworth Development LLC. Now therefore be it resolved by the Planning Board of the Township of Howell that the public shall be excluded from the next portion of this meeting and that the Planning Board will not reconvene in public session thereafter. Be it further resolved that minutes will be kept of the meeting in closed session and the time and circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public cannot be determined at this time.
Thank you.
Well, we need a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Is there a
I'll
second? Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay. We'll see everybody in executive.
Alrighty.
I sent everyone a separate email regarding that meeting. Thank you.
Yep, with the link. Thank
All
you.
right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.